Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Giridhari Radha, Giridhari Radhe. Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath. Jai Baladeva, Jai Subhadra. Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai. Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Om Gyat Vrandasya, Gyananjana Shalakaya, Chakshuronmilitam Yena, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Udabada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Shyam Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jaitam Suradur Pangur Mamandavatir Gati Matsarvasrapadam Bojo Radha Madana Mohana Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So welcome all of you to the third day of our course on Bhagavad Gita. Yesterday we discussed about the science of soul. While discussing about the science of soul, first we spoke about the proof of existence of soul. While talking about the proof of existence of soul, we discussed 5 proofs of the existence of soul. Number 1, the first proof is that when somebody dies, or by using common sense, we can understand that there is something called soul which is beyond the body, which is making all the bodily functions possible. I am able to speak because there is a soul existing in me. You are able to hear because there is a soul existing. This is called the science of soul. And common sense is enough to prove that there is soul. When somebody dies, we say chal base, guzar gaye, he passed away. He passed away from this body to another body. Like we pass out of a college, we passed out of DMET. That doesn't mean we don't exist outside DMET. We passed out of DMET. The same way, a person passed away or passed out of this body and goes to another body. So what is the thing which leaves the body and goes to another body? That is the soul. Now, the second proof of the existence of soul, as we discussed yesterday, is intuitive understanding. Like by logic, we can prove that there is something called soul. This is my hand. What does it mean? There is a distinct difference between me and my hand. I am not this hand. This is my hand. In the same way, when we say this is my head, what does it mean? There is a difference between me and my head. This is my head. I am not this head. The same way, when I say this is my body, it means that there is a distinct difference between me and my body. I am not the body. This is my body. This is my house. I am not the house. I am living in the house. As much as this is my house and I am living in this house, I am not the house. The same way, I am living in the body. This is my body and I am living in the body. I am not this body. I am driving a car. This is my car. I am driving the car. I am not the car. There is a difference between me and the car. There is a difference between driver and the car. The same way, there is a difference between the driver of the body and the body. Body is like a yantra, is a machine. So I am in the body, and then after some time, when the body is not fit enough for me to stay, I leave the body and go to another body. Simple. Then somebody may say, no, I want something more scientific. Yes, very simple. You feel pain sitting on the chair. You don't feel pain sitting on the chair, but the chair, does it feel pain? Your friend feels the pain. If you sit on your friend's lap, he'll feel the pain, but the chair doesn't feel the pain. Why? Because there is no soul in the chair. There is no soul in the football. When you kick the football doesn't feel the pain. When you kick your friend, he feels the pain. So the pleasure and pain, the emotions are not in inert matter. All the emotions, what we experience in this life, in our life, is because of the presence of soul. You may say, oh, dead body, is it suffering? No, dead body is no suffering. There's no happiness. There's no taste in the mouth of a dead body. The fourth proof of existence of soul, as we discussed yesterday, was the scientists. They have recorded journals where they have a description of, they have described or they have recorded two kinds of phenomena called out-of-body experiences and near-death experiences, where certain patients who are in coma, they are supposed to be in coma and actually they are given anesthesia. They are totally unconscious. And after the operation is over, the patients, they come and say to the doctor that, doctor, I saw what all you done onto my body. Very strange. How is it possible? He's supposed to be in coma. How come he is that he's able to see what's happening on his body? The patient says that I went out of the body and was able to see what's happening onto my body. It's strange. Just see. How is it possible? It is possible because there is a substance, there is an entity which is beyond the body, which is staying in the body, which can go out and come back also to the same body. So that is called soul. The fifth proof of the existence of soul is past life memories. There are so many incidences of past life memories. There's Ian Stevenson written a book on past life memories. They are researched, verified, and proved. It is not just some story somebody told. I'm writing that. Especially in small children, they remember their previous life. The previous life they were having a man's body, and now they have a woman's body. Now they become very disturbed. What is happening? So there is a process called hypnotic regression to cure this problem. They understand, okay, these thoughts of the previous life, and this in this body, I'm a man or a woman. Not only that, everybody has previous life memories. These previous life memories are found in the dreams. Sometimes we speak a language which we don't know in this life. Sometimes we hear, we see a person in a dream whom we have never met in this life. Where are they coming from? They're all coming from the memories in the previous life. If there's a previous life, what is the thing which connects the previous life to this life? That is a soul. Then yesterday we discussed about how the anatomy, the Vedic anatomy of the body. In our body, what you are seeing, looking at me, there are 10 things. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego, soul, and super soul. Very simple. Out of these 10 things, 8 things are, material body. In this material body, again, there are 2 sections, known as the gross body, the subtle body. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhumir apo analo vayukam mano buddhirevacha hankaram itiyamme binna prakriti. These are the 8 elements known as the material body. So this material body again has got 2 distinctions, 2 divisions in it, known as the gross material body, the subtle material body. And we can compare the gross material body, which is made up of these 5 elements, that is earth, water, fire, air, ether, Prithvi, Jal, Agni, Vayu, Akash. We can compare this body, which is made up of these 5 elements, to the hardware of the computer. And there are 3 more elements of the subtle body, that is mind, intelligence, and false ego. This can be compared to the software of the computer. There is hardware and software. In this way, we understand there is a distinction between hardware and software. How, like the distinction is there between the brain and the mind. Brain is the gross elements, made up of gross elements. Mind is made up of subtle elements. Unfortunately, in modern science, they don't even have an understanding. They don't even accept the existence of mind, what to speak of soul, consciousness, God, etc. They don't even have understanding there is something called intelligence, which is beyond the gross matter. There is no understanding of subtle matter, sukshma sharira. There's only thing they say is there's a periodic table and there's interaction of chemicals and elements. And when the interaction happens, some electromagnetic radiations are there. And those electromagnetic radiations are called subtle. No, there's something called subtle matter, which is beyond the gross matter. Though it is not spiritual, it is still subtle, sukshma sharira. Though the modern science, they have a department of psychology, and you go and ask a psychologist, what are you dealing with? He says, I'm dealing with mind. And you're asking what is mind? He has no idea what is mind made up of. But the Vedic literatures, they give a clear understanding of what is the subtle body all about. Now, beyond the subtle body, there is a spiritual body made up of soul. This is called a soul. The soul is spiritual, and beyond the soul, there is super soul, that is spiritual. Paramatma, Atma and Paramatma, they are spiritual. This mind, intelligence, and false ego, though they are part of the subtle body, they are material. Mind is material, soul is spiritual. Just because mind is sukshma, subtle, that doesn't mean it is spiritual. So we have a perfect understanding of the anatomy of the body, or overview of the anatomy of the body. That is earth, water, fire, air, ether. These Pancha Mahabhutas can be compared to the hardware of the computer. Mind, intelligence, and false ego can compare to the software of the computer. And the consciousness which is flowing through the plug, that is electricity, and the plug point is the soul, and the super soul is the generator where the entire electricity is coming from. In this way, we have a very comprehensive understanding of the body, how this body is made up of. Now, to have a better understanding of what just now spoke, we speak about, or we'll try to understand about what happens in the time of death. What happens at the time of death is like this. The soul leaves the body, but the soul doesn't leave the body just alone. It leaves the body along with the subtle body. So not only the soul is carried forward from the previous life, along with the soul, the subtle body made up of mind, intelligence, and false ego, it has been carried forward from the previous lifetime and lifetimes of lifetimes. So what all we have accrued in the previous life through our senses, they're all stored in our subtle body, in our sukshma sharira. That is called sanskar. Means what all we have seen in the previous life, what all we have heard in the previous life, what all we have tasted in the previous life, what all we have smelled in the previous life, what all we have sparsha, means what all we have experienced, touched in the previous life, not a lifetimes, they are all stored in the subtle body as impressions. If you have seen good things, good impressions, bad things, bad impressions. That is why when a baby is born, some babies or some children, they are very, very nice, very sober, intelligent, humble, all good qualities. And some, very ferocious. What is the reason? The previous life, one baby had in the previous good impressions, but good sanskars. In the previous life, somebody did not have good sanskars. They have seen all the nonsense in the TV, shooting, biting, hitting, and all kinds of things. So when they are born, they also do the same thing. Anyhow, so this shows that there is a distinction between the subtle body and the gross body. The soul goes from one body to another body. And super soul also manages the entire process. It also goes from one body to another body. Now, what is the soul all about? Yesterday we discussed about this thing. We discussed that how soul is satta, means eternal. Satta, chitta, and ananda. Sat, Chit and Ananda. What is the meaning of Sat, Chit and Ananda? Sat means, Sat comes from the word Sanatana, means which has neither birth nor death. Which has neither birth nor death. What is the meaning of having neither birth nor death? न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे न हन्यते. The soul doesn't die when the body dies. The soul is eternal. Some people say God created us. No, God has not created us. We are eternal. God is eternal. We are also eternal. Our existence is of eternity. There is something which is born has a death. Something which has no birth has no death. Why the soul should die? Actually, what is born is not the soul. It is the body. So when you celebrate a birthday, or your son's birthday, or daughter's birthday, or even your birthday, it is not your birthday. It is not your son's birthday. It is not your daughter's birthday. It is the daughter's body's birthday, the son's body's birthday. Your son is bringing his karma from the previous life. You also brought your karma from the previous life. You are not born. You were never born. Your body was born. So that is why when you go to some birthday party, when you wish somebody happy birthday, you should not just say happy birthday. You sing the song, happy birthday to your body, because it's the body which is born. And the death is also for the body. The person never dies. So this is the first lesson which Krishna gives to us in the Bhagavad Gita. That is, the soul is eternal. Arjuna, you're not this body, you're spirit soul. Now, the second quality of the soul, it is Chitmaya, conscious. All the emotions what we are experiencing, all the knowledge we are gaining, it is not because of the body, it is because of the soul's presence. A dead body also has eyes. Can it see? No, it cannot. The dead body also has ears. Can it hear? No, it cannot. So what does it mean? It means the presence of the soul in the body. It is that which actually makes the body function, do all its, conduct all its functions, all its activities. So in this way, we understood yesterday about the soul. And the third point about the soul, or third quality of the soul, is that it is Anandamaya. Anandamaya means what? It is full of bliss. That is why we are all searching for that bliss. Nobody wants unhappiness. Nobody wants to suffer. Everybody wants to enjoy. Why? Because it is the nature of the soul to enjoy. But the problem is we are searching on a wrong platform, bodily platform. We are not the body, we are soul. The soul is Anandamaya. Since I am the soul is spiritual in nature. So happiness can only be on the spiritual platform. There can be absolutely no happiness on the material platform. You go anywhere in the world, anybody, they may be the most richest people, and they can be having full desires fulfilled in seconds of their, once they desire, but still they'll not be happy. Why? Because we are not matter. When we are not matter, how can matter make us happy? One simple proof. There are so many people who are multi-billionaires, not billionaires, multi-billionaires, and they have achieved great fame, but they've committed suicide. They are suffering in their life. On the other hand, you have sadhus who have nothing in their life. They don't even have a bank account, but they're so happy. Why? They're so satisfied. They have no fear. Why? What is the reason? Because they are feeding the soul. They are taking care of the soul. Since we are souls, we are spiritual. Soul is spiritual. Only spirituality can make us happy. No amount of matter can make you happy, like a fish. Fish, when it is out of water, only what can be what can you do to make the fish happy? You make the best apartments. You may take the fish to the best restaurant. You may give the best gadgets to the fish. The fish cannot be happy because the fish requires water. That's all. Until as it goes back to the water, it will be struggling. So our position in this world is like that. Our position in this world is like the fish out of water. So as long as we are not taking up spirituality, and then feed the soul. And we are that soul. Till that time, you do anything, you achieve anything, satisfaction and happiness will never be there. So yesterday we discussed that we are thinking about so many things that actually the thing what we are supposed to think about, we are not thinking it. That is the first thing which Arjuna, Krishna recognized in Arjuna. He says to Arjuna in the second chapter, 11th verse, Asocha anusocastam pragyavadamscha bhashase gatasu nagatasumscha nanusochanti pandita. Arjuna, gatasu nagatasumscha nanusochanti pandita. My dear Arjuna, you are thinking about those things which are not fit to be thought about. And you are speaking as if you are a Pandita. That means that disease which everybody in this world has been identified by Krishna in the second chapter, 11th verse of the Bhagavad Gita. We think about those things which are not fit to be thought about, and we think we are very learned. Yesterday, if you remember, I gave an example. That is, there was one person who wanted to buy a Mercedes. But he was not such a rich person, but somehow he worked hard for 15 years, did over time, saved us in each penny, and somehow he accumulated around 50-60 lakh rupees and bought a car. He was so happy to drive the car back to his house. All of a sudden, a truck, he had an accident with the truck. The car got damaged. He got down from the car and was so angry at the truck driver. He started telling the truck driver, I'm going to take you to the police station, get you arrested. The truck driver says, my dear sir, later on you can do anything. Please come along with me, I'll take you to the hospital. He says, why go to the hospital? Then the truck driver says, look at your hand. And this person looks at the hand, the forearm is cut, this whole part has gone somewhere else, or it's fallen, it's gone because of the impact of the accident. He lost his forearm. The blood is oozing out. This person says, the car driver says, owner of the car says to the truck driver, now I'm going to kill you. Because of you, I have lost my watch also. Just see, oozing out. The blood is oozing out. Now he says that I lost my watch also. He is thinking about the car. He is thinking about the watch. But he's supposed to think about the blood. He is supposed to go to the hospital. Instead of hospital, he wants to go to the police station. He's foolish. He is thinking about those things which are not fit to be thought about. You can get another watch. You can get another car. You can get another car. But can you get another hand? No, you cannot. So this is how we waste our life in just thinking about those things which are not fit to be thought about. And we are panditas and speak big things that I'm so learned. That's what Arjuna's problem was. He was thinking that he is so learned, but he was speaking foolish things. Krishna called Arjuna, you're a fool. Because you are speaking as if you're very learned, but you're not. Because you don't know the distinction between body and soul. You forgot the soul, and you're trying to get happiness in the platform of the body. How long you're going to work hard and feed somebody else and think that I'll be satisfied? No, you go on polishing the body, taking care of the body, but you don't give to the side time to the soul. So this is how we concluded the classes today. And today we enter into this section of God, proof of existence of God. Before we talk about the proof of existence of God, we'll talk about something very interesting. The whole world is divided into two concepts. One, those who say God exists, and those who say God doesn't exist. So in Sanskrit, existence is called asti. Those who say Bhagavan or God, asti, exists, they are called astikas. And those who say God doesn't exist, nasti, they are known as nastikas. Astika and nastika, they are the two concepts of people in this world. Wherever you go, the most famous person in this world is God. Some people say I believe in God, and some people say I don't believe in God. Some people say God exists, and some people say God doesn't exist. Now, whether God exists, whether you believe in God or doesn't believe in God, it doesn't matter to God because He's not dependent on your votes to become God. Anyhow, based on these two concepts, they are Nastika and Astika. To such an extent, these two concepts are so deep-rooted that there are two societies based on these two terms. Especially in South India, you have the Nastika Samajam, means there is a Pakka society with the president, the chairman, the secretary, treasurer, like that, and they have Nastika Samaj. And on the other hand, you have Astika Samaj. Astika means those who say God exists. Astika Samajam and Nastika Samajam. So let's see what's happening in the Nastika Samaj. So I still remember when I was 7th or 8th standard, I suppose, one my father's friend, he had come to our house, and then he told my father that the president of the Nastika Samajam is coming to our town, and please, why don't you come to attend the satsang of the Nastika Samaj? My father was obliged because he's his friend, but he also went. I also went. There were 800 to 1,000 people in the hall, and he gave 1 hour class on how God doesn't exist. And the conclusion was that the summary was that you name a problem in this world is because of God. It is because of religion. You name all the social evils, it's because of religion. You name all the people's foolishness, it is because of religion. And religion is because of God. So no God, no religion, no problem. That is the conclusion. And he has statistics to prove that every social evil has base in religion. He has statistics to prove that every war has is based in religion. So ultimately, this person concluded that no God, no religion, no problem. So everybody appreciated his lecture, and my father also went to him and said, "Oh, wonderful! What a class you gave." My father told him that I want to change my membership. I'm a member of Astika Samajam, the atheistic society. Now I want to become a member of the atheistic society, that is Nastika Samaj. This person who was president of the Nastika Samaj, who just now gave a lecture, he told, people appreciate me for I'm a good speaker, I'm this and that, but actually everything is in the hands of God. Cultured person, humble. So a humble, cultured person would not like to hear his own appreciation. So he says everything is in the hands of God. Just now he spoke about 1 hour, he spoke about how God doesn't exist. So on the other hand, you go to the Nastika Samaj. So what is there in the Nastika Samaja? In Nastik Samaj, atheistic society, what is happening? What's happening in the Astika Samaj or the theistic society? Makar Shankranti is a very important day for them. They do yajna, anadan and all. And after the yajna or the sacrifice and do a lot of anadan, and they all have their food, and then they are made small groups. In one group, they are talking about politics. In one group, they are talking about cinema. And one group, they are talking about cricket. And some group, they are talking about some other issues. And some few ladies are getting together and then talking about whose daughter should be married to whom. Everybody is talking about something or other. And all the talks are happening in the temple, a Balaji temple. They're sitting in the Venkateshwara temple, Srinivasa temple. No pure Balaji is standing and sitting, that they are all believe in me, but none of them are talking about it. All believe in God. Poor Balaji is standing. And then he's saying, "Hey, all of you believe in me, but none of you are talking about it." This is the problem. And they think that we are Astika. We accept God is there. Let him be there, wherever he is there. We will do our own work. What I've got to do with him? That's all. This is what is happening in the Astika Samaj. Now, this word belief is a very dubious term. That is, when he says, "I believe in God," what does it mean? I believe in God. Belief is something very something which is not very concrete. I believe there's a cat behind the wall. What does it mean? That means the cat may be there, may not be there, but I believe the cat is behind the wall. That is called belief. There's a cat behind the wall. I believe it. So I believe God is there, means he may be there, may not be there, but I believe he is there. So the point is not about belief. The point is about faith in God. So much so that people, those who call themselves as Nastikas, what is the condition is there? When situation comes, all of a sudden God appears to them. Oh God, oh Jesus. I still remember in my childhood, I myself and my friend used to come back from school, walking all the way from the school to our houses. So on the way, we had small temples, and we used to criticize those people who used to go to the temple. And what is this? They are pouring water on Shivlinga for no reason, pouring milk also. What is this on the stone they are worshipping? They are all foolish. So we are pakka atheistic. So it so happened that he had to go to Bitchpilani and I had to go to DMT for studies. And there in DMT, I came in contact with the devotees of ISKCON and started reading Bhagavad Gita. Then started taking up practice of Krishna consciousness. Then I came back home, and all of a sudden I met my friend after many years. So I remember those days in our childhood, we used to speak about atheism. Then I thought, let me convince him about existence of God, and we should take up spirituality, the proper spiritual process of studying Bhagavad Gita. The first time we met, and then I thought it's not good for the first time itself I speak about all those things. Then I was developing some rapport with him. He told me, see, I'm passed out of my MBITS planning, but I don't want to do a job. I want to do my own business. And please come. Tomorrow is opening of our small factory. So then I went next day to his factory opening. I saw there's Havan going on and the puja was going on. He was wearing dhoti. I thought, what happened to him? We were atheistic, and what is he doing all these things? Well, ribbon cutting should be there. That's all. Opening over. What is all this thing going on? Especially the atheistic person. I was also an atheistic person in my childhood. What happened? So then I just went near him and told him, hey, what is this you're doing? Don't you know we are atheistic people? Just like that I told. So he came inside the room and then took me to a corner and told, you see, actually God is not there. I also know. But you know, I have invested at that time 10 lakh rupees in the factory. I invested 10 lakh rupees. If God is there, let him be happy now. It is only 10,000 rupees, one karcha and all. Let him be happy now. What is the problem? I have invested 10 lakh rupees. If he's there, let him be happy. So when the time comes, automatically you think of God. Like in our temple now, in our temple, next to our temple, nice temple, beautiful temple. Next to a temple, we have a school, Dalmia school. Maybe you must have heard that this song, their anthem now, which is going on. 3,000 children every day come to the temple, but hardly anyone, a single child comes inside the temple. But all of a sudden, you'll find many children are pouring into the temple. Many children are pouring inside. That means you should understand exams have started. All of a sudden, every single brick of the temple, every single stone of the temple becomes divine for them. Because when the situation comes, oh God. So the question is not whether God exists or doesn't exist. The question is about how much faith you have in God. But somehow the atheism has picked up its momentum in the past few years, a few hundred years. It is not atheism, is not a new concept. It is there right from the dawn of creation. When Vishnu created Brahma, along with Brahma, there were two demons who were also created. Their names are Madhu and Kaitaba. So these Madhu and Kaitaba, they knew they came from Vishnu. As soon as they saw Vishnu, they thought we should kill him. So to kill him, they had to fight with him. So he'll only fight when there is benediction. So they did tapasya. Madhu and Kaitaba, they did tapasya. So then Vishnu appeared in front of Madhu and Kaitaba and told, what do you want? They wanted 3 boons. Number 1, we want to fight with you. Number 2, we want to fight with you. That is number 1. Number two, we want all the strength to fight with you from you. You are the strength to fight with you. Number three, that you cannot kill us wherever there is earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence. Just see, atheism, root of atheism is this. Number one, I want to kill God. I want to get the strength to kill God from God himself. There is nothing in this world other than matter. There is nothing called spirit and spirituality. It is all just a mental speculation only. It is nonsense. So these are the three concepts which the atheistic people are having and carrying it even till today. So atheism is not a new thing, new concept. Not that old people were all theistic. No, no. It started right from creation. Ravana, big atheist. How many people came and told him, the person is standing in front of his God, his Ram, give back Sita. He'll give everything to you. Just give back his own wife to him. No. Who is he? He's a Nara. One who doesn't accept Ram as God is a demon, he's Ravana. He's atheistic. Hiranyakashipu. They're big atheistic people. It is not that only recent days atheism is there, so it's a new fashion. No, atheism is not a new fashion. It is right there, right from the dawn of creation. Here, Madhu and Kaitama, these three principles have become the principles of modern science. Modern science, they say that the whole purpose of our modern science is to prove that God doesn't exist. And what do they do? What do they use to prove that God doesn't exist? What do they use to prove atheism? The intelligence given by God to prove. They use the intelligence given by God to prove that God doesn't exist. Wow. Madhu and Kaitama told, we use the strength to fight with you and kill you. And the basic, more flawed or assumption of the modern science is that they have somehow limited themselves to accept there's nothing else in this world other than matter. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego. There's nothing else in this world. Madhu and Kaitama thought there's nothing else in these 8 elements. So if we get a benediction that we will not be killed wherever is earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego, we will not be killed. But ultimately, the Lord killed because he kept Madhu and Kaitama on his thighs and then killed them. Thighs of the Lord, they are not ordinary. They are spiritual. So there is not accepting there is some spirituality is actually atheism. Though we may say, oh God and all these things, but there is a substance which is beyond matter, which is not made up of material elements. They have to come to this conclusion. Why? Because there is something in modern science also called antimatter. What does it mean? So the matter that exists, the antimatter that exists. What does it mean? No, don't talk about it. We don't call it spiritual because if it is spiritual, then you have to study the Veda. So we say antimatter. Wow. So just accept there is something called spiritual, which is beyond matter. Now, coming back to our point here of atheism. Atheism is not a new concept. It's there from right from the dawn of creation. But in the modern days, or in these days, in the past few centuries, the atheism has picked up its momentum based on modern science. So let us see the history or the modern history of atheism. So a few centuries back, the whole, especially in the Western world, people were quite pious. They used to go to church, etc. At that time, we have one person. We know that Newton. He was Newton's laws of motion. He was sitting under one tree, an apple fell down. And the classical mechanics started when he inquired why the apple fell down, why it did not go up. So the classical mechanics started from there, the velocity, momentum, acceleration. And then they started inquiring about the natural phenomena happening in this world, and climate, the season, the changes, the months, the eclipses, and then gradually there's a change, there's evolution in some science. And on the other hand, people used to go to church and they used to ask the father in the church, what is the seasons? Why there's new moon? Why there's new full moon? What is eclipse? How the creation happened? Father said, yes, Monday this happened, Tuesday this happened, Thursday this happened. It was not very logical. It was not very convincing to their intelligence. On the other hand, the science and the scientists, they were speaking very logical. It was appealing to the rational of the human rational. Then gradually there was a shift of faith. Because when you go to science or scientists, they were speaking something logical and rational, and explaining the natural phenomena very nicely, which is appealing to the rational of a human. Not only that, the science started giving comforts. On the other hand, the religion, they were talking only sentiment. It was not very scientific. So people start thinking, if you are intelligent, go to science, because that is where you can get the truth. If you are sentimental, go to religion. So religion is for sentimentalists, and science is for intelligent people. Truth is in science. Religion is just some kind of a some intoxication. It's an opium, so that you can forget your miseries. That's all. But truth is not there in religion. Actually, truth is in science. Natural. Anybody who gives your answers to questions, you will develop faith in them. And he is there in the church. They are not giving proper scientific answer to your questions. They're just giving some sentiment of God created, this happened, that happened, Monday this happened, Tuesday this happened. It was not convincing to anybody's intelligence. On the other hand, the science was giving all the answers. And that is how there is a shift of faith from religion to science. Now let us use the same science and prove that there's something called God. There's some existence, a proof of existence of God. The first proof of existence of God is very simple. That is, you will find in this world there is this universe itself, the world itself is a proof of God. You can see this world, how wonderful is this world. Everything in this world is running in a controlled fashion. The ocean water comes at one point and goes back. The sun rises in the east every day. It doesn't rise in the west single day. Whether you want or don't want, the sun rises in the east. It's so controlled. Who is controlling it? If there is a controlled mechanism, that means there is a controller behind it. Without a controller, how can you have a controlled mechanism? There is a traffic control system, that is where traffic is going smoothly. That you see all the planets that are moving. Who is controlling them? There is a control mechanism. You cannot have automatic control. Even though there is an automation, there is a person who operates the automation, who made the automation. You may say automatically happening. So you may say automatically happening. There's a machine which is automatically manufacturing, but there is a person who pressed the automatic button. There is a person behind it, or there is a person who made that automation possible. So the very fact that everything is happening in this world automatic doesn't disprove the existence of God, because there is a person who made the automation and who activated the automation. So there is perfect control. Number two, in this world, everything is perfectly designed. There's a perfect design in this world. Just see what is the design. The design is so perfect, so wonderful. Just see. You must have, we all are science students. You must have. There's something called enormous expansion of water. And what is the meaning of this? What we heard about? Why is it there? Why is the phenomenon of enormous expansion of water? When God designed this world, at that time, he knew very well that the fishes had to be protected. If the density of water is maximum in the solid state called ice, the ocean water, when it becomes ice, when the temperature reduces, the ocean solidifies, becomes ice and goes down. And again, the top water becomes ice and goes down. If the ice has been heavier than water, the ice would go down, and the whole ocean would become ice, and the fishes in the ocean would die. Generally, the solid state of every substance is heavier than the liquid state of a substance, except water. What is this? Who designed this thing? It's a perfect design to protect the fishes. Who designed? If there's a design, that means there's a designer behind it. No design comes automatic. Very interesting thought for all of us. Somebody shows you a beautiful painting of a rose. You say, oh, nice. Who made this? Then somebody shows you, gives you a plastic rose. These days you get flowers which are made of plastic. You see, oh, that is original, so nice. Who made this? Which company, which factory made it? Who designed it? Somebody gives you a real rose. You take the rose. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, nice. You don't even bother to ask who made this. Picture of a rose, somebody must have made it, huh? A plastic rose, somebody must have made it, manufactured it. Somebody must have designed it. The real rose, automatic. How do you think a painting which has only form, no shape and fragrance, requires somebody to design, requires somebody to paint, and it is only shape, that plastic rose, no fragrance. But something which has form, shape, and fragrance, that doesn't require any designer. It's so strange. Inquire, who made this? Oh, if you ask about it, you have to think of God, because there's no other way. Roses have been existing for billions of years. That means somebody must have made, who human can make it. No. What to speak of this? You give all the chemicals in this world, ask it to make a blade of brass, they cannot make it. Not a blade of brass can be made. The supercomputers are made, rockets are made, make a blade of brass, impossible. You may make a clown, but that is also not all clowns are successful. Anyhow, we'll not talk about. Now, go to the second, third point. The first one is every controlled mechanism requires a controller. Every design requires a designer. Design implies a designer. And now, the third thing, that in this world, you'll find that everything is very much organized. Organization means to provide things which are required for you. That is called organization. Let us organize. A function means arranging things what are required for the festival or for a thing. Now you see, if this world is full of nice organization, for every urge there is a fulfillment in nature. You feel thirsty, there's water. You feel hungry, there's food. What all is in this world, there is a purpose to fulfill a particular requirement. You go to a particular hall, there you find all the chairs are nicely organized. That means somebody has come before you to that room and is organized things for you. No organization comes just by automatically. No. Organization means there is an organizer behind. The baby is born, the mother milk manifests in the breast of the mother. Who organized it? Somebody who knows the baby cannot eat anything, it can only drink milk, so that God is the organizer. There is a person who is organized. So material nature, if you observe nature, you just cannot be a theistic person. If you're a theist, you're so blunt that you're not sensitive enough to observe the nature. If you observe the nature, then you understand that there is a person behind it, an intelligent person behind it, who knows that you require certain things. That is why he has arranged it. You can just say, oh, automatically happens. Automatically nothing happens. Somebody snaps you and say, automatically happens. No, there is intentionality behind it. There is a purpose behind everything which happens in this world. Nothing happens automatically. Even if you say automatically it is happening, there is a person who created the automation and who has inspired the automation, started the automation process. Now the fourth proof. This is a tremendous energy. Just see. You stop all the factories. Then all the engineers and everybody get together to just make one bulb. What kind of bulb? As good as sun, which burns for millions of years without losing its intensity. Is it possible? Can you create one more sun? Just see the sun more. How can you say that there's no God? That kind of tremendous energy. that bulb which is glowing for millions of years and going to go for millions of years, and we are not even able to understand how it is, what's happening. You may have hundreds of phenomena, and who created the phenomena? Who created the law? Who created the law? We say Newton's laws of motion. If there's a law by which the world is functioning, there is a lawmaker. Every controlled system implies a control. Every design implies a designer. And every organization implies an organizer. And every control, everything which has been controlled has a controller. Every law has a lawmaker. We say Newton's laws of motion. Before Newton, these laws were not applicable. They were not in the nature. How can you say it is Newton's laws of motion? Just because he discovered them, it becomes Newton's laws of motion? No, it is God's laws of motion. It is He who has created these laws. Just because you discovered, you make it Newton's laws of motion. In thermodynamics, you make somebody's laws of motion. Just because you discovered, that doesn't mean it becomes his laws. This is where the cruel colonial mentality is manifested through the science. How? There is you lost your purse, and it has a few thousand rupees in it, and one thief, he takes the purse, and then somebody, whose purse is this? It's my purse. Why? I found it. Just because you found it, that doesn't make it is yours. It is so cruel. You may say, oh, it's science, but there is a colonial mentality. Anyhow, that is a different subject matter. It's sociology, the spiritual view of sociology. There's another subject matter we can talk about hours and hours about it. But the core idea is this: that is, just because you discovered something, those laws, that doesn't make it is your laws. It is laws of God. It is God's laws of motion. The laws of thermodynamics are not. It is God's laws of thermodynamics. So every law implies there's a lawmaker. Ultimately, this creation. Everything in this world is created. Nothing happens by chance. Creation happened by chance. No, creation doesn't happen by chance. There is a creator behind. When chapati requires a creator, you may think, oh, chapati automatically comes. You invite your friend to the dinner, and your wife has cooked so many nice, wonderful items, and she brings a plate and gives it to you and gives it to your friend. And your friend asks, oh, so nice. So who made all these things, these items? Then you say, oh, nothing in the kitchen, some blah, blah, some sound comes, dum, 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 sound comes. Automatically, all these things are made. Then you will have it. Your wife will shout at you. Automatically comes. Make one chapati, you'll understand. Even to make a chapati, you require hard work, you require intelligence. It has to come round. It doesn't come by chance. Chapatis don't come by chance. What to speak of this world? No, we have a Big Bang theory. It is still a theory, it's not true. Okay, even if you accept the whole world was created by the bang, is it logic? How can creation happen by a blast, by bang? The apartment where you're staying, you ask the builder, how did you build this apartment? I was going in a helicopter, I saw a hill, and I dropped a bomb. Then what happened? The apartments came up by a blast. By blast, destruction happened, no creation happens. How foolish is to say that creation happened by a big bang. Bangs don't create, they destroy. So, Newton was a religious person, he believed in God. His friend was atheistic, so atheistic that he wanted to convince that God exists. Newton wanted to convince his friend that God exists. Then he called his friend one day to his house where his laboratory was there. Then he showed one nice, wonderful setup. Newton's friend, he saw the setup. Newton just turned on the wheel. He showed a planetary system, the model of the planetary system, the sun in the middle, and all the planets and their orbits and their rotation, evolution. Just by turning the wheel, all the planets, they start revolving and rotating around the sun. Newton's friend was so amazed and asked, "Oh, who made this thing? Who made this model?" Newton told, "See, I was sleeping in my house and I heard a big bang in my laboratory. I went and saw automatically all these things came." Friend told, "What is this you're saying? How can this laboratory, this nice, wonderful model come from a bang blast? You so intelligently designed it." Then Newton told, "My dear friend, this prototype model of the universe, you are saying this cannot come by a blast. How can you say the original thing can come from a blast?" Then you have to keep quiet. So there is a person behind this. He is a creator. Every design implies a designer. Every controlled mechanism implies a controller. Every organization implies organizer. Every law implies a lawmaker. Every creation implies a creator. Say, I accept this. God accepted. But why I cannot see him? If his God is there, who is creator, who is lawmaker, who is a designer, who is a controller, then I should be able to see him. Yes, you can see him. How you can see him? By seeing the unseen God can be seen by the seen world. You see this world, the very observation of this world will make you understand that there is a person behind it. God behind it. How? How do you understand? Krishna in the Bhagavad says that Mai Sarvedam Rotam Sutre Maniganam Va Aham Sarvasya Prabhu Vattas Sarvam Pravartate. Everything comes from me. How? After coming from me, they all rest on me. Matta Paradaram Nanyat Kinchidasti Dhananjaya Mai Sarvedam Rotam Sutre Maniganam. Like you have pearl necklace. The nice arrangement of the pearls in the pearl necklace is because the unseen thread. So you have this tulasi mala, tulasi neck beads. You're able to see the tulasi beads, very small. But behind that, there is a thread which is connecting them, which cannot be seen. The nice arrangement of the pearls and tulasi beads are because of the underlying thread which is not seen. The unseen thread can be seen by the seen pearls. The very nice arrangement of the pearls itself is a proof of the existence of the unseen thread. Very nice arrangement of this universe itself is a proof that there is a person who is unseen. If there's no thread, all the pearls will get scattered. The universe, the stars, the galaxies, they are all just not scattered. They are all being held by an unseen person. So the unseen Lord can be seen by the seen world. So the more closer you are towards Prakriti or the nature, the more you can understand there is a God who is existing behind you. Okay, I accept God is there, he is unseen, he can be seen by the seen nature. But if there's God, there should be only one. Why there are many gods? Why many religions then? Everybody says, my God, my God, my God. Actually, all the religions say there's only one God. And the colonial mentality of the Britishers, they said, they wanted to prove that these Indians are sentimental people. So they proved to the world that these Indians, or those who live in this land, they Bahuishwaravadis. They don't accept one God, many gods. But we have only one God, Jesus, Christ. We have one God, Allah. But these people are many gods. It is wrong. You go to any religious text in this world, it's there. Ekam Sat, Vedanta says, all the religions, including Christianity or Islam, or name a religion in this world, they all say there's only one God. So now the question is, if there's only one God, then why there are so many religions? They're fighting like anything. This is one God. This is one God who has spoken religion according to the capacity of a person, according to the yogyata of a person, depending on what is required at a particular level for that person. Jesus says, I came to deliver the people of Israel. So these religions of the world, they are meant for a particular place, according to time, place, and circumstance. It's for a temporary period of arrangement was made to bring people to a certain level of humanity, who are from a completely animalistic platform, to bring to certain level so that they can pick up spirituality. But the entire full concept, religious principles are there in the books called Vedic literatures called Sanatana Dharma, which is now known as Hinduism. In the Vedic literatures, the word Hindu is not found. You say Hindu Dharma, because it is more prachalita, that's all. It is not Hinduism. It is nothing like Hinduism. It is Sanatana Dharma. Better we use this word Sanatana Dharma, Sanatani. Hum Sanatani hai. Recently, people have started picking this word, Hum Sanatani hai, Sanatani. Because Hindu, word Hindu, it was actually mispronunciation of the word Sindhu. When the Persians started addressing those people on the other side of the Sindhu river, they started pronouncing as Hindu. And in this way, we were known to the world as Hindu. But before the Persians came, this is all only one dharma, that is known as Sanatana Dharma. The Sanatana Dharma is for everyone, to all times, in all circumstances. So in certain places, certain times, places, circumstances, certain chala dharmas, upadharmas had to be created for a particular purpose. So we'll not delve deep into the subject matter, but we should know that there's one God who is being addressed in all the religions in different names. But that doesn't mean all the religions are on the same level, because Sanatana Dharma is Sanatana. And all other dharmas, they are for a particular time, place, and circumstance. I can give you enough proofs. We can take a seminar on it. Maybe, on existence of Sanatana Dharma around the world. Because there's only one dharma around the world. Whether it is America, Mexico is this Hanuman temple, there's Mayan civilization, Mayadana was there. Around the world, there's only one Sanatana Dharma. Go anywhere, any part of the world, because dharma cannot be many. It's going to be only one. Because there's one God, there can be only one dharma. But it is seen that there are different religions because of misunderstanding that these religions are Sanatana. But they are created by God for a particular purpose, for a particular time only. Anyhow, we'll not dwell into the subject now. Let us go further and understand what is this Sanatana Dharma. Before we get into this word Sanatana, we'll address one important point. Why I need to accept God in my life? What is the reason? I know God is there. Let Him be there wherever He is. Why are you troubling me early in the morning? We are joined because you are from DMT. But every day, morning, troubling us so many things. Why are you troubling like this? Why all these religious people trouble us? Let God be there wherever He is. I am doing my job. I am happy with it. I am taking care of my family. Okay, sometimes katta mita hota hai. What does it matter? Let it happen. Life is full of sometimes struggles, sometimes happiness. So why require God in my life? Okay, once in a while, let's go to temple and then do some puja, give some donation, come back. Why do I accept God in my life? Here is most important point of our 6 days course. You can get everything, but one thing only God can give. What is that thing? That thing is so important for all of us that we just cannot live without it. We are all hankering for it. When we lose the hope that we are not going to get it, we commit suicide. We even try to commit suicide. What is that one thing only God can give and nobody else can give? And that is the only thing which you are hankering for. That is the only thing with an expectation of that thing we are living for. And that one thing is love. Prema. Some people say, oh, God-fearing man. There are so many people who don't accept God. They don't criticize God. God is giving them things or not. Those who are not afraid also, He's giving. So you don't have to be afraid of God. So some people say, I'm a God-fearing man. Who says I'm a police-fearing man? Some garbage you have done, that is a police-fearing. Whose student says, I'm afraid of my teacher? Because you have done something wrong. That is, you are afraid of teacher. You don't have to be afraid of God. There are some religions or some people, they say, no, God, oh God, give my daily bread. As if he's got a big bakery there, and you ask bread, he gives bread. You ask wheat bread, you get wheat bread. You have bun, you get bun. There's no other business involved. Order supplier. This is expectation. Religion is based on expectation, thinking God is order supplier. And the other concept, I do my duty. Daily one agarbatti and one flower, evening one agarbatti and one flower, and over. Fine. You don't have to do. You don't have to worship God out of fear, not out of expectation. Because even if you don't ask, He's giving. He has given you kidney. Did you ask kidney for God? But He gave no kidney. Everybody has a kidney working, isn't it? Without asking, God has given you so much. Asking God is like going and asking your mother. A child goes and asks mother, will you give me today's breakfast? The mommy will be shocked. Right? Every day I'm giving. When you were not even able to speak, I fed you milk. But no, you're asking, you want to give breakfast? Even if you don't eat breakfast, I'm going to put the breakfast in your mouth. So God is to be accepted in our life. Because there's one thing only He can give, and that is the only thing which can satisfy our heart, that is love. Because the nature of the soul is to love and serve. You don't have to teach. As baby, as soon as born, you have to teach so many things. The baby, by birth, starts loving the mother. That means it is the nature of the soul to love. Even the most cruel animals, tigers and lions, they also have love for the mother tiger, father tiger. The cub is not afraid of the father tiger, the mother tiger. Because now is the nature of the soul. Dharma. What is the meaning of dharma? The very nature of a substance is called dharma. The nature of water is fluidity. So fluidity becomes dharma of water. You have light and fire coming, light and heat. That is dharma of the fire. The quality which cannot be separated from the substance, that is called dharma. And what is the dharma of the soul? It is to love and serve, because love cannot be independent of service, and service cannot be independent of love. A small boy goes to the mother and says, "Mommy, बहुत भूख लगी है." The mother says, "Beta, मैं तुमसे बहुत प्रेम करती हूँ." Beta says, "Mama, बहुत भूख लग रहा है." Okay. Mommy says, "I love you, my dear son." Is he going to eat your love or what? He is hungry, so you have to cook and give. So love is expressed by your service. Love and service cannot be taken out of each other. You cannot separate it. Somebody serves you without love, that service is not service. Somebody loves you without service, and that love is no love. Love and service go together. That is the nature of soul. That is why in this world everybody is serving someone. No, you cannot say that I don't serve anyone. Serve someone. You have to love someone. Otherwise, you cannot exist in this. That is why when an young boy falls in love with a young girl, then the young girl, she marries somebody, then he feels a rope hanging and try to commit suicide. So he feels I lost my love, means I lost my life. What is the use of life? Life is synonymous to love. When soul is actually giving life. Soul's nature is to love. That means the nature, dharma of every living entity, every one of us is to love. Now, but the love and service which we are engaging now is changing. The boy is born, he loves the mother so much. Your father comes, he's afraid. After some time, he grows and he sees the father bringing gifts every day. Then he starts loving the father. One day, the father knocks the door and the door opens. And who opened the door? This small boy opened the door. The father hugs him and says, "Oh, beta, Ash, you have proved that you are my son." He's so happy. That's his son. The mother is thinking. There was a time when he's afraid of the father. Now he is loving the father. He has love for the child, has love for the mother, but there's more love for the father because he's taking it out, bringing gifts. And after some time, a 7 or 8-year-old, the father comes and then door opens. He says his son is no more, he's not in front of him. Wife opens the door. He says, Mera beta kahan hai? The wife takes him window and shows him. Dekho tumhara beta udhar khel raha hai. So then the father says, Beta, dekho tumhare liye kya laya hu? I bought something very nice to you. Baad mein aata hu, rab to baad mein aata hu. A heart attack for his father. Oh, my son loves me so much. What is it? What has happened to me? The wife says, this happened to me also. Now his object of love from mother to father and father to friends now. Now he's just engrossed in with friends, completely engrossed with friends. He loves his friends more than the mother cooks nice things on his birthday and then beta puri sabji kheer hai. How? Nahi khana. Doston ke saath mujhe jana khana. Where is he eating? He loves that Raju who has kept a Chinese corner and exactly on top of a gutter with a red tin shed, and he has not taken bath for a year or so with the oily hair, and he with his friends eating the Chinese from the Raju. He loves that more than the mother's cooking. What happened? There was a time when even a second late, he used to cry, till the mother would feed him milk. Now, what happened to that love? The object has now changed. Then he gets girlfriend. He loves girlfriends. He loves his friends. And then he hates the same girlfriend. Again, he gets another. And again, somehow lands with his wife. And somehow he has to exist with his wife. And now he has a child. He loves the child more than the wife. The child grows up. He is everything to his child. And the child goes to America and he is there in his house. Wife has died. Now nobody to look after. He goes for evening walk. Few biscuits in hand. The biscuits fall down. Dog comes and eats the biscuits. And somehow he goes back to his house, giving all the biscuits to the dog, and he's about to sleep. But he is thinking about the dog. He comes out, opens the door, and he sees the dog is looking at him with very loving eyes, with the tail wagging, the tongue out, and thinking, oh, more biscuits. Then he starts thinking, how much the dog loves me. I did so much for my son, he doesn't even inquire whether I'm dead or alive. So if at all there is anybody who loves me in this world, it is a dog. If at all anybody I should love is a dog, he lets the dog inside and loves the dog. One thing is true. Throughout his life, this person loved someone or the other. But he did not give up loving. And he landed up in loving dog. It's very simple. If you don't love G-O-D, you land up in loving D-O-G, dog. If you don't love God, you'll love dog. Because you cannot give up loving. So that is why it is called Sanatana Dharma. Dharma also is to love. Sanatana means eternal. What is that love? Onto whom we should apply so that it becomes Sanatana eternal? Where there is no change of the object of love is God. So Sanatana Dharma means to love and serve God. Sanatana means eternal. Who is eternal? You are eternal, God is eternal. And the relationship between them is love, that is eternal. So, love between us or the living entities, Jivas, and God is eternal. We are eternal. God is eternal. And these three things are known as Sanatana Dharma. God, we are the living entities, and the exchange of love between them, that is called Sanatana Dharma. That's all. Now we may say, oh, loving God and serving God is Sanatana Dharma. Then for that we should know, if I have to love someone, I should know who is he. So that will be dealt tomorrow at 6:45. Now I take whole time, not much time for question answer, but still we can extend our session. Today I don't have any following class. So please ask questions. Hare Krishna.
मेरा एक प्रश्न है।
हाँ पूछिए।
कि सभी प्राणी जानते हैं कि जैसा खाओगे अन्न वैसा होगा मन।
बराबर।
जिस प्राणी का अन्न मेहनत का नहीं है, उसका मन भी खराब हो जाता है, उसकी बुद्धि भी खराब हो जाती है, उसका चित्त भी खराब हो जाता है, उसका दिमाग भी खराब हो जाता है,
बराबर
और उसके अंदर अहंकार भी डेवलप हो जाता है।
बराबर।
तो आप ये बताइए कि जैसे कि सभी प्राणियों में आत्मा होती है, तो उनकी आत्मा यह प्रेरणा क्यों नहीं देती है कि वे मेहनत का अन्न खाएं? क्यों चोरी महाचोरी, डकैती महाडकैती, इन सब की तरफ क्यों दौड़ते हैं?
बराबर। आपका इसी प्रकार का प्रश्न था कल भी, तो मैंने इसका निराकरण वापस उसी तरीके से करूंगा कि संगति, हमारा मन की परिवर्तन जो है, हमारा स्वभाव का परिवर्तन संगति से होता है। यू टेल मी हु इज योर फ्रेंड एंड टेल हु यू आर। जैसा संग वैसा रंग, जैसा संग वैसा रंग। शास्त्रों में वर्णन आता है, मृगारी करके एक था, वो जानवरों को मारता था, पूरा नहीं मारता था, आधा मारता था। वो आधा मारता था। क्यों मारता था आधा? कारण क्या है? कारण क्या है? उसको आनंद आता था। जब उसने कहा कि नारद जी ने पूछा वो मृगारी से, ऐसा क्यों कर रहे हैं? मुझे आनंद आता है। तब नारद जी वो मृगारी को उपदेश दिया। तुरंत वो सारा सब कुछ छोड़ दिया। नारद जी ने कहा, क्या इसके पाप की भागीदारी तुम बनने के लिए तैयार हो? मैं कहा नहीं बनूंगा, नहीं बन सकता। थोड़ी सी संगति की मात्र से मृगारी पूरा उधर परिवर्तन हो गया। वो शिकार करना छोड़ दिया, भोजन करना प्रारंभ किया। मृगारी ने कहा, मैं ये सब शिकार करना छोड़ दूंगा तो मेरा भोजन कौन व्यवस्था करेगा? नारद जी ने कहा, चिंता मत करो, तुम भजन करो, तुम्हारा भोजन का व्यवस्था जो है भगवान करेंगे। तो लोगों को जैसे पता लगा कि मृगारी जो इतना क्रूर था वो छोड़ दिया सब कुछ, और अभी भजन कर रहा है, तो उनके लिए कोई उपहार, कोई साधु के पास जाता कुछ ना कुछ उपहार लेके जाता है, कोई गिफ्ट लेके जाता है, तो लेके जाने। तो मृगारी ने सोचा इतना सारा आ रहा है मेरे पास, चावल दाल इत्यादि, भगवान पका के भगवान को भोग लगा के सबको खिलाओ प्रसाद के रूप में। तो मृगारी इस प्रकार करने लगा तो बहुत लोग दान देना प्रारंभ कर दिया। तो नारद जी आ रहे हैं मृगारी से मिलने के लिए, पर्वत मुनि के साथ, उनके मित्र पर्वत मुनि के साथ। दूर से ये मृगारी अपने गुरु को आते हुए देख के भागते भागते के प्रणाम कर रहा था। तो बीच अजीब सा कार्य कर रहा था वो। नारद जी ने देखा, मृगारी क्या कर रहे हो? मैं प्रणाम करने जा रहा हूँ, उधर कुछ चींटियां हैं उसको हटा रहा था ताकि मरे ना। वही मृगारी जो जानवरों को आधा मार के तड़पते हुए देख के वो आनंद को अनुभव करता था। अभी चींटी कोई मारना नहीं चाहता। क्यों? साधु संगति से शास्त्र कहता है, साधु संग साधु संग साधु संग सर्वशास्त्र कहे, मात्र साधु संग सर्व। आपने कहा आप क्यों ऐसा करते, क्यों ऐसा करते? आपका बार बार ये प्रश्न, इतना जानने के बाद भी क्यों? क्योंकि संगति नहीं है, साधु संग नहीं है। सत्संग में करो, बैठो तो धीरे 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 जो है सब कुछ हो जाएगा। और कोई प्रश्न है? क्वेश्चंस? कोई प्रश्न नहीं?
प्रभु जी,
हाँ, यस।
जहाँ सत्संग है वहाँ धर्म है,
बराबर।
लेकिन फिर भी लोग जो हैं वो ये क्यों कहते हैं कि यदि तुम धर्म का अनुसरण नहीं करोगे तो तुम्हारे साथ जो है वो कुछ न कुछ अकथित घटेगा। ऐसा ऐसा कह के डराते क्यों?
जहां आपको डर का महसूस होता है, जहां जो लोग आपको डराते हैं भले कि धर्म के नाम पे, वो तामसिक है। जहां लोग आपको हृदय में आशा की उत्पन्न करते, ये करो तो ये मिलेगा, ये करो तो मिलेगा, वो राजसिक है। जहां आपको प्रेरित किया जाता है, देखो आप कर्तव्य है, ये करना है, वह सात्विक है। ये 3 भौतिक स्तर में माना जाता है। ये भौतिक है, ये आध्यात्मिकता नहीं है। आध्यात्मिकता जो है वो प्रेम के आधार, प्रेम से आओ, आपको जितना मन करता है करो, प्रेम से करो। इस प्रकार जो प्रेरणा देने वाले वो आध्यात्मिक स्तर पे। इसलिए ना हमको डरा के किसी को करना है, वो कर रहा है वो आध्यात्मिकता के नाम पे भौतिकवाद का प्रचार कर रहा है, तामसिक भौतिकवाद। आध्यात्मिक के नाम पे राजसिक भावनाओं को उत्पन्न कर रहा है, ये करो तो ये मिलेगा, ये करो तो मिलेगा, राजसिक है। तो ये आपका ड्यूटी है, धर्म बनता है, आपको ये करना है, कर्तव्य है, ये इसके द्वारा प्रेरणा देने वाले जो है उसको सात्विक कहा गया है। सत्व रजस तम तीनों भौतिक, धर्म के नाम पे, वो अध्यात्म के नाम पे या धर्म के नाम पे भौतिकता में लोगों को प्रेरित कर रहे हैं। तो उधर उसको सत्संग नहीं कहा गया, उसको असत्संगी कहा गया है। भले ही वो शास्त्र का नाम ले रहे हैं, भले ही वो भगवान का नाम ले रहे हैं, कुछ भी ले रहे होंगे, फिर भी वो भौतिक है, वो आध्यात्मिकता नहीं है, वो सत्संग नहीं है। सत्य में का अर्थ है सनातन। सत्य भगवान का और एक नाम, यानी भगवान के साथ संबंध को जोड़ने वाला। तो भगवान के साथ संबंध हमारा प्रेम का संबंध, यानी भगवान के साथ प्रेम का संबंध को जोड़ने वाला जो है उसको सत साधु कहा गया है, उसको सत्संग कहा गया है। तो खास करके आपके घरों में पंडिताई करने के लिए आते हैं, वो 2 चीज करते हैं, डराते हैं दक्षिणा लेने के लिए, वो नहीं होगा, ये हो जाएगा, वो हो जाएगा, वो तामसिक है। ये आशा करते हैं कर दो वो मिल जाएगा आपको। या देखो आपका धर्म बनता है, मैं आप मेरा पिताजी, मैं और सब लोग जितने भी है आपके पुरोहित हैं, आपको पंडिताई करते हैं, आपका कर्तव्य है हमको देना या ये करना आपका कर्तव्य है, ये राजसिक, ये सात्विक है। लेकिन ये तीनों भौतिक है, यानी शास्त्र का आधार पे, धर्म का आधार पे, नाम भगवान का आधार पे आपको भौतिकता में उलझा रहे, वो साधु नहीं है, वो सत्संग है। साधु वही हैं जो हमको प्रेरणा देते हैं, भगवत ज्ञान देते हैं और भगवान से प्रेम का संबंध को जोड़ने का आपको प्रेरणा देते हैं, उसको साधु कहा गया है। ठीक है,
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद प्रभु जी।
और कोई प्रश्न है?
एक प्रश्न है मेरा। प्रभु जी हरे कृष्ण। मतलब मेरा वैसे तो कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है रिलेटेड, मतलब जो आपका टॉपिक है, भक्ति में ज्यादा और अचीव करने के लिए, जैसे कि आपने शायद बोला था कि सत्संग वगैरह में भी यही आपका आंसर है, बट फिर भी क्या कोई और आंसर है भक्ति को में और डीप जाने के लिए?
शुरुआत सत्संग से होता है, सत्संग से शक्ति प्राप्त होती है अन्य कार्य करने के लिए। ये जो आपने प्रश्न पूछा उसको हम परसों जो है उसका और अच्छी तरह से चर्चा करेंगे, यानी परसों रविवार और सोमवार 2 दिन जो है ये प्रैक्टिकल एप्लीकेशन ऑफ भगवत गीता होगा, उसके ऊपर हम चर्चा करेंगे। ठीक है, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। थैंक यू वेरी मच। वी विल मीट टुमारो एट 6:45 AM। हरे कृष्ण। शिव प्रभुपाद की जय।
हरे कृष्ण।